So here I'll be showing you guys the basic process of how you are going to set up your DJI Avata for flight. First off, you want to take your headset, turn it around, and make sure that you have an SD card in here so that way you have recording capability on the headset. This is really helpful for post-processing as well as if you lose contact with the drone. I don't know if this will be able to record the last moments if you don't have an SD card in, so I would definitely recommend having one in. But you want to take the included power cable here and plug it in to this port here. Then you want to take the OTG cable that's included and a regular USB-A to C or Lightning, or get yourself a USB-C to Lightning or USB-C to C cable and plug it in here. Make sure that it's a data cable, otherwise it won't work. Then just plug your phone in. You also want to take your goggles battery and plug it in. Make sure that it clicks in so that way it doesn't pull out. If you are going to be using this for a long time, I do suggest getting a strap for your battery for your goggles, or just using some Velcro like I have here. That will keep it in place, but since I'm not going to be putting this on right now, it's not an issue. Then just press once and double press and hold for this to power on. You'll hear a tone on the goggles themselves indicating that they're turning on. While we're doing that, we can also turn on our drone, and for the purposes of this demonstration I'll just use the motion controller. Then you just want to navigate on your phone to the DJI Fly app, and as long as everything is connected you will see video output and basically a mirror of what you see on your goggles on your phone. Now the first time that you do this, it's not going to work this way because I have this set up, it basically goes straight into it. But if you do have a situation where you are just starting this up for the first time, the app will actually walk you through the process of how to set it up. Just follow the instructions and you'll be okay. If you do have any issues with that though, you can leave a comment down below and I can help you, or you can click on the video that I'll have linked down below, which is directly from DJI. That goes over the exact process that you need to do to get this set up for the first time. So here I'm going to be going over the settings inside of the goggles. So if you press on the lock button, it'll lock the screen so we don't make any changes. This is the exposure button. You can change how bright it is in your eyes. This is not something that will show up on video. You also have your screen brightness, and you have your volume sliders. If you swipe up from the bottom, this will bring up your camera controls. Right now, the drone is in low power mode and is not in flight, so I can't really mess with this stuff. But if it were on and primed, you would be able to change these settings to whatever you like. I have mine on manual. I usually shoot at 4K 60, so I have the shutter at 1/120. That gives proper motion blur for 60 FPS 4K video. I also have the decent-alike profile on. If you go here to status, that is your drone. You get to as many by swiping forward on the panel. You also have your transmission options, so you have some things for the pilot and for an audience if you have other people that want to watch with goggles. Here we go into safety settings. You can set your max height, max distance, or return to home altitude. This also gives information on all of the calibrations and if they're okay or not. You have ESC beeping. If you turn that on, it will make the drone beep. You have the signal loss action, so if you lose signal, generally you want to leave this on return to home, but you could set it to land or to hover. Landing is probably the worst of the options unless you're indoors though. If you go here to the controller settings, you can change your custom mode to manual. That's how you would do it. Automatically from the factory, it's going to be set to sport. So if you do know how to fly in manual and you feel comfortable, change it. Go into gain and expo if you are also comfortable with flying manual and you want to be able to do flips and rolls. Make sure that this switch is turned off, and that will allow you to do that. Also, you can go here to the RC calibration. If there's any issues, you can calibrate the RC controller. For the gimbal pitch, you can have slow, medium, or fast. You can calibrate it. Also here, you can set your units to imperial or to metric. You can also do turtle mode from here, or you can set it as a control in the controller menu. That's what I have. You can also replay the tutorial for the goggles. Here we have the camera settings menu. This is a little bit less convenient than the swipe up menu, but you can go here to toggle some more in-depth settings if you would like to do that. You also have grid lines. I don't fly with those usually in FPV because I want to make sure that what I'm seeing is what I'm actually seeing. But I do have the center point on. What that does is it puts a little crosshair in the middle of your screen so that you know exactly where you're flying. That can be pretty helpful if you're doing gaps and other things like that. It just kind of keeps you centered. Down here we have display. You can change the brightness in here as well. You can change the scaling.